Do you ever miss those old school 8-bit or 16-bit Contra games? Do you ever wish we could get a new game in the same vein that offers the same type of experience? Well, if you do, luckily for you, Iron Meat is going to be something you're going to want to put on your wish list. And no, it's not an adult video starring Iron Man.
At the pleasure of myself. There's one thing I've proven is that you can count on me to pleasure myself.
Instead, it's an old school 16-bit Contra-like experience. After playing through the demo a couple of times, it honestly reminded me of when I was a kid and I would come home from a day of school to fire up my Super Nintendo system and blast up Contra 3 Alien Wars. Not only is this game a complete throwback to those OG run and gun games, it's basically a love letter to them, especially Contra 3. For example, in the opening stage of Contra, we run around a ruined city, devastated from the battle that is raging on. And about halfway through the stage, we see a fighter jet swoop in, launching missiles that lights the city on fire. And it's not just those type of visuals that give it that Contra feel. The game is also filled with screen shaking effects and over-the-top explosions, to even the type of enemies you face. Plus, the multi-phase screen-filling boss fights. You can literally feel the DNA of those classic games oozing out of this one. Now, while in Contra you do take on human enemies as well as some pretty interesting aliens, in Iron Meat, we take on the Meat. An iron ravenous mass mutating everything in his path, as we blast our way through retro-inspired stages and bosses to uncover the shocking horrors behind the secrets of the Meat. And when it says everything in his path, it truly means everything in his path. So far in the demo, I got to take on corrupt elevator shafts, flying cars, mutated buildings, and even a corrupted train engine. I've had a total blast playing through these 3 levels, and I cannot wait to get my hands on the final product. So far in the demo, all 3 stages have been your typical side-scrolling run and gun type of sections. So one thing Contra is really known for is their uniqueness in the levels. In the original game, we kind of got the behind the back camera angle as we had to blast our way through separate tunnels until we got to the boss fight. Or in Contra 3 Alien Wars, they had the top-down camera angle for some of the levels. Hell, even in Contra Horror Corps on the Sega Genesis, one of the levels had you running down the street as a robot chases you and you try to survive. I'm not sure if Iron Meat is going to have any of those unique type of levels in it. We'll just have to wait and see. Like I said, I've only played 3 of the levels so far, and the final product is supposed to have a total of 9. So we'll just have to wait and see what the rest of the levels have in store for us. But moving on from the atmosphere, the gunplay, the enemies, and the level design, one thing I definitely want to point out is how great the music is. Just listen to some of the soundtracks the game has to offer. And it's not just the music that I find amazing. Even the cutscenes have an 80s cartoon style to them. Overall, I just love the art style, the atmosphere, and tone of the game. Like I said before, this feels like an absolute love letter, not only to classic Contra games, but basically from a lot of kick-ass stuff from the 80s. So if you grew up in that time period, or you just enjoy it, this is one game I highly recommend you keep your eye on. Iron Meat is set to come out sometime next year to Steam, the Xbox Series X and S, the PlayStation 5, as well as the Nintendo Switch. But I would love to hear what you all think. Is Iron Meat a game you plan on picking up? Let me also know what other throwback indie titles you guys are looking forward to down in the comments below. By the way, if you made it this far and did enjoy the video, let me know by dropping a like. And if you are new, please consider subscribing. As for me, I got a lot of work to do, so I'm gonna get back to the grind. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.